Hey everyone, my name is Shanice and welcome back to my channel. Here I'm doing a very random video. A few weeks ago, or maybe a week ago, I can't remember now, but the Tribeca Barnes & Noble closed down. And so for I think a week before it closed down, the entire store was 40 to 50% off. So one of my coworkers told me about it, and a few days before the closing day, I stopped by. Now I have a book buying ban, which I broke for this haul. Yeah. I kind of don't count it because it was spontaneous and, to me, necessary. So I don't feel all that bad about it. And for how many books I got and how much they ended up costing, I mean, I can't complain. It was fortuitous because actually one of the books that I found, I had mentioned in my big books challenge for this year, that video, as a book that I really wanted to get my hands on and read someday. Well, I did a few weeks after I said that. So yeah, let me just run through this list. I'll show you the stack. Bought a few and I was restraining myself. There were a few others that I really wanted. The Harry Potter section was completely destroyed. Like, I think some people just stole wands and like took parts of packages but not the whole package. It was a mess. I couldn't get anything from there. There were no movies, there was no music that I could find, but lots and lots of cheap books and games, things like that. So let me just run through the titles that I did end up getting. So first up is a short story collection called The Secret Lives of Church Ladies, and it is written by Dispiace. Been wanting to read this for a very, very long time. Couldn't believe my luck that I found it. In that store, I didn't really see a short story collection section, so this was just on a shelf. On any shelf, and I saw it and I grabbed it. This won the Penn Faulkner Award, it won the Story Prize, it was the winner of the LA Times Book Prize, it's won a lot of things. I heard there's a short story called Peaches or something that is supposed to be the best one in here. Stay tuned, I might be mentioning this in another TBR video that I will be making soon, but that was one of the books that I picked up. Then another fortuitous book that I came across. If you saw my Chicago Diaries vlog, you'll have seen that one of the books that I took with me to read that I didn't read was a winter book by Tove Jansson. What did I find on the shelves of a closing Barnes & Noble but the summer book, also by Jansson. This one was translated by Thomas Teal. And it has an introduction by Catherine Davis. I love these seasonal type books. I had this tradition of reading a seasonal book on the day that that season started. I did that with Ali Smith's seasonal quartet. I also did that with Karl Knausgaard, his autumn, winter, spring, summer series, whatever you want to call that one. And so these are the only two that exist. I don't think Tove Jansson did, a spring book or a fall book. It gives me at least an excuse to start this on June 21st, the first day of summer, to get me in the seasonal spirit. And then so these New York Review Books editions are some of my favorites. I love the care that they take in curating their catalog. I always discover something I've never heard of, which includes this next one. It's called A Month in the Country by J.L. Carr. So this one is a deeply charged poetic novel. It tells a story of a character named Tom Birkin, who is a vet of the Great War, is in a bad marriage, and arrives in Yorkshire Village to restore a recently discovered medical mural in the local church. So he seems to be an artist, he seems to be kind of isolated, that's my jam. I love stories like that. So this is also a reflection on the passage of time and the power of art. Tom finds in his memory some consolation for all that has been lost. So it's a short one, and again, I love these editions of books. I want to own as many New York Review books that I can. Also, another tiny book that I had never heard of before. It's called The Dry Heart by Natalia Ginsburg. This was written in Italian and translated into English by Frances Frenet. This is about another broken marriage, and it seems like the wife has killed her husband, and this is a story that uncovers maybe why she did that. And I love, in the end, the description on the back says that wife transforms the unhappy tale of an ordinary dull marriage into a rich psychological thriller that seems to beg the question, why don't more wives kill their husbands? Yes, I agree. The next book I've actually read, and you will hear my thoughts on it in the January wrap-up video that I will be making. This one is called A Shining by Jon Fosse. This was written in Norwegian, I think. Yes, Norwegian, and translated to English by Damien Searles. Such a short, very whip-fast book about a guy who just is driving, kind of stumbles into wintry woods. It starts getting late, very dark. He's all alone, it's snowing. The whole time he's just trying to figure out how to escape the woods, where to go, are there people nearby, is he going to be stranded there? He's spiraling, and he sees this weird thing in the woods. And that is all I'm going to say. But yeah, this was a National Book Award finalist, and you will hear my thoughts on it at the end of the month. Then I also found, by chance, again, just I think someone had picked it up and then put it back, decided not to buy it, just put it back on any shelf and left it there. And I stumbled upon it, and it's Love by Toni Morrison. And this one, according to the back, is a Faulknerian symphony of passion and hatred, power and perversity, color and class that spans 3 generations of Black women in a fading beach town. You know me, I love intergenerational or family sagas, and I love Toni Morrison. So glad I can add this to my growing collection of all of Morrison's books. Don't know when I'll get to it, but so happy that I can add this to my collection. And then I have Nowhere Man by Alexander Hemon. Now let me read the summary and let me see if you can guess why I picked this up. A native of Sarajevo, where he spends his adolescence trying to become Bosnia's answer to John Lennon, Joseph Pronek comes to the US in 1992, just in time to watch war break out in his country, but too early to be a genuine refugee. Indeed, Joseph's typical answer to inquiries about his origins and ethnicity is, "I'm complicated." And so he proves to be, not just to himself, but to the revolving series of shadowy but insightful narrators who chart his progress from Sarajevo to Chicago. Yada yada, Nowhere Man is the kaleidoscopic portrait of a magnetic young man stranded in America by the war in Bosnia. I've heard that this is Nabokovian. Nabokov is my favorite author. This talks about John Lennon, this talks about Chicago, identity. Yes, just yes all around. I want to see what it's all about, read what it's all about. I can't wait. Next is the book that I had mentioned in my big books video that I alluded to earlier on. It was when I was mentioning the book Our Share of Night, which I will be reading this year. I mentioned that she had written a few short story collections that I've always wanted to read. Lo and behold, what do I find randomly on a shelf again? Things We Lost in the Fire. So this one was translated into English by I think I already know, Megan McDowell. These are stories that are electric, disturbing, and exhilarating. They explore multiple dimensions of life and death in contemporary Argentina. Each tale simmers with the nation's troubled history, but among the abandoned houses, black magic, superstitions, lost loves, and regrets, there is also friendship, compassion, and humor. Kelly Link put a little blurb here. She has these weird atmospheric tones to everything that she writes. So if she says this is good, then I'm going to believe her. Okay, and lastly, again, it was like fortuitous for me to just happen upon this Barnes & Noble and for them to have these specific books, because I was going to ask for this book for Christmas. I didn't because I figured, it's a big book. Realistically, am I going to read it in 2024? The answer is probably no. So it's good that I didn't really ask for it, but I found it on a shelf at the closing Barnes & Noble, and I'm very happy that I now own Alba de Céspedes, Her Side of the Story. This was written in Italian and translated by Jill Folston. There's an afterword by Elena Ferrante, blurbs by Jhumpa Lahiri, Annie Ernaux. Not to sound, crazy or solipsistic, but I feel like this was written for me. This is about Alessandra Cortegiani, who is looking back on her life during the rise of fascism in Italy, the resistance, and the fall of Mussolini. It also explores the lives of the women in her family and her working class neighborhood. And Elena Ferrante says, I have a modest list that I call books of encouragement. One of these is Her Side of the Story by Alba de Céspedes. I don't know, there's something so cozy and warm about that blurb that gives me high hopes for this book. It's huge. I'm not gonna read it this year, I'm sure, but who knows, maybe I'll pick it for another year's Big Books Challenge, but I'm glad if ever I just get an urge to pick it up, I own it. So that is it. Let me just show you once more now the spines of the books that, the books that I was able to pick up. Stay tuned for my review of A Shining by Jon Fosse, and thank you for watching. This is again very random, but I thought it would be a little fun to show you what I picked up. And RIP to the Tribeca Barnes & Noble. No clue what they're building there, but I don't know. Will I miss it? Probably not, because I had never been to it before the day that I went. Spiritually, I will miss it. Anytime a bookstore closes is a sad day. Yeah, thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you all next time. Bye.